Hi Nilesh, how are you?
Hi Sumit, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. What about you?
Yeah, I'm also doing good. So where are you put up currently?
I'm from Pune right now.
Okay,
I'm in Pune right now.
okay, fine. So shall we start?
So,
Okay, so like before starting this session, I would like to know that I will record this session and I will put it on YouTube. Are you okay with that?
yeah, fine, no issues.
Yeah, sure. So I have a resume with me. So and I can see that you are working as an automation lead for and you are having around experience of 10 years. So and you have good exposure in API automation as well as UI automation. So, would you like to tell me more about yourself?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm Nilesh Karwa. I have completed computer science from North Maharashtra University. I started my career with Wipro, worked in Wipro for 2 years, 2.2 years. Then I moved on to IBM, worked in IBM for 3 years, around 3 years. Then I moved on to Accenture for 3.3 years. And the last organization which I have worked on is Tricon Infotech. Here I have worked for 1.7 years. So during this, during my work tenure, I have worked on, performed several roles like manual test engineer role, senior manual test engineer role, test engineer role, senior automation test engineer role, as well as uh, lead automation test engineer role during my work tenure. And so in Accenture, I have worked as API automation perform API automation testing, as well as worked on UI automation testing using Selenium with Java and TestNG as a unit testing framework. Also use, continuous integration tool like Jenkins, Maven, and a repository tool as Git. These are the tools which we use it for, continuous delivery and continuous integration. Mm.
Okay.
This is all about myself.
Okay. Yeah. So I would like to know, like, in your current project, what are your roles and responsibilities? So are you working as an individual contributor or like managing the non-technical things like reporting and stuff, or you are also contributing to the technical side? So would like to
Okay.
know.
Currently, the project I'm handling, it's an individual contributor role,
Oh, nice.
and I'm performing both the roles, like uh, technical work as well, because I'm an individual working on the project where I have 8 uh, developers, so I am taking care of all the stories. I am performing manual testing as well as automation testing.
Mhm.
Both these roles I'm performing it. And on top of that, I am reporting the issues which I have with. And on non-technicals, I'm, the management things. I'm taking care of the management things as well for my
Okay.
project.
So like currently, how many people you are and are working under you? Like, how many people you are leading?
So right now, team is means under me right now. There's no one.
Okay.
But prior to this, the organization which I worked on is Accenture, and prior to that, IBM. In IBM, I have worked with a team of 5 members, where I have performed a lead as a lead, and under me 5 employees were there. So I used to provide them a KT. I used to guide them on how to create test cases. Means I have provided them a KT as well as the testing background because they were freshers, so they had no idea how the
Okay.
testing going to be and how all those tips. And I used to take care of reporting, the creating test plan, creating test strategies, and then understanding the project as well as handling the team. What are the issues we have it within the team? So and work allocation to the team, and I used to contribute in the team as well. So these are the things I used to perform it on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis.
Okay. Got it. Nice. So like I will give you one scenario. Suppose you are having four members in your team and you are
Hmm.
leading them, and one of the team member is not working. Like you assign him some task on the day-to-day basis, but at the end of the day, either he completes the task or he did not complete the task. So what are the steps you will take so that he will be also working correctly? So what will be your approach actually?
Okay. First, try to understand the person. Okay. Reason being why he is not working, we need to understand the person first. First and foremost, because uh, until and unless we don't have communication or interaction with the person, or we don't have, team bonding within a team, so it would have
Mhm.
been difficult to,
Yeah.
understand how, what work he likes it, how he wanted to do it, and how we can contribute towards uh, uh, the ultimate goal of delivering a quality software. That's
Mhm.
the requirement. So, in terms of what are the challenges he is facing, it I need to try to address those. First, I need to listen him, understand him, and then I need to understand what he challenges he is facing, and how we can work means create an environment so that he would be part of a team,
Okay.
and he should be part of team as well as we. How can we ask him? Means ask him to share what are the issues he has, so that if we have the knowledge, we can provide him.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
sure.
we can guide him somewhere that he can look for it.
Okay.
That's the way
Okay.
we can do that.
So, like, have you mentioned that you also have the knowledge of agile methodology, right?
Yes.
So, in agile
So,
methodology, we use one term which is sprint retrospective. So, what are the 3 points you consider while having that call? Can you tell me?
okay. Retrospective meeting usually what we have achieved, what we can improve,
Mm-hmm.
and what is not met, or what can be, or what we want to keep it. Means
Mm-hmm.
what the things we would be what we have achieved. I mean, what we wanted to continue.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be, uh, sorry, what is that we have done it, which is working fine and excellent within the team.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing, what we have not done it, but we wanted to add it. And third thing, what is we are working on it, but it's not giving us the required, means required output, or it's not giving us. I mean, it is not working as per our expected results, and it's messing up the things or going in wrong directions. So we will need to stop it. Those are the things we consider it in
Okay.
retrospective.
Like in short, I will say like what went good, went
Hmm.
bad, and what in the future purpose how we can basically resolve that,
Improve.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay. So suppose, Nilesh, you raised a bug on the Jira, you raised
Hmm.
a bug and you attach the screenshots as well. So,
Hmm.
and when developer sees that, developer says that it is not a bug, and he assigns the, and he says that mark the bug that it is not a bug. So, how you will convince the developer that okay, it is a bug from your side, but developer says that it is not a bug. So basically, how you will resolve that? How you will tell him?
Okay. So basically, so I have seen these issues. Okay. I have
Mhm.
find out this issue during my work tenure as well, where usually people, means developer team, rejects the bug. They think it's not a bug. What happens is, uh, what are the major issue which I have found it is, they have installed one certain things when we, uh, usually what happens is when we raise a bug, okay, it gets fixed, and they used to deploy that in their environment first. And when it comes to our environment, the deployment might be that code, that piece of code is missing. Uh, and when we check it and consider a test environment where we are performing it, we can show them, means we can reproduce the bug and show them that, see, on the test environment, this is the bug which is not working right now. And sharing with the screen with developer and show him that this is what happened. Okay. um, and so then he needs to investigate, means we can tell him that, because can you check, is there something which is in your environment is been deployed, but that is the thing which is missing to be deployed in the test environment. Can you check that? And if he try, he needs to understand, right? The developer has much more idea what has been deployed and all those things as they keep track on the deployment as well.
Mhm.
So on that basis, he will understand, okay, yeah, this is the thing which is working in fine in their environment, and because of this, you know, deployment was missing. It was not working fine in test environment. One thing, another thing which I have observed it, okay, in Salesforce. So they were assigning permissions, okay, for
Mhm.
my user in their environment, which is a dev environment. It works fine. But when I have tested it, it doesn't work. Now
Okay.
they used to perform that testing in the test environment using my credential, and they face the same issue. So then they got the idea that this means they got to know that because of some permissions, were missing in my role, which is why it was not working as expected.
Mhm. Okay.
So that's
So
how we
yeah, okay.
usually means what happens is we need to collaborate. We need to make him understand that why it is working, why it is failing, and so he's also person, and he
Yeah.
will understands it whether it works or fine, it's working or not working. And if
Mhm.
he is not working, then we can escalate it to senior
Yeah.
person so that he has to work on it. Once if we escalate something, then it would be again means the person would have to work on it. Otherwise, it would not be. Means he will also understand because what happens is when I raise a bug, I usually show them uh, in our daily scrum as well, and they understand that okay, this is working, not working as expected. And there are other members as well, like product owner, the delivery manager, the BA, the scrum master, all of them are there. And in front of them, they don't have any choice to prove yourself that I'm not made a mistake,
Okay.
because
Nice.
we as
Yeah.
a tester we have to evaluate whether why it is not working, why it is failing.
Yeah.
We also need to try to deep dive why this issue has occurred, and everything we have the right to know about it as well.
Okay, so just suppose like when you raise the bug, developer says
Hmm.
that it is a feature, but you are saying that it is a bug. So in that clash, how you will say, how you will like come to a point that it is a bug, it is not a feature. So how you can
Okay,
conclude basically?
okay. So basically, if it is a feature, then it would be in part of product backlog. It would not be in part of development or the product. It would first of all it would has to be in part of product backlog if it is
Mhm.
a feature.
Mhm.
And if they are developing it, which is part of a feature, then that should be part of sprint as well.
Mhm.
And how come they can develop it a feature which is not a part of a sprint right now?
Mhm.
We need to check with the BAs as well, and the product owner as
Yeah.
well, whether that's a feature or it's a
Yeah.
bug, because they have the clarity and they have the rights
Yeah. Yeah.
to say that it's a feature or it's a bug,
Like
not the
yeah.
developer or the tester who
So
can decide.
basically, we can have a call with the product owner and developer, and where all the tester team will be present, so they can come to a
Correct,
conclusion like
correct,
that it's a feature or a bug. Yeah, that's good.
correct.
So now let's come to some technical part. So I will start with Java. So in Java there is a class called string. So why is it immutable? Like why we cannot change the value? Why is it? What's the reason for that?
Uh, just a minute, okay. I I have heard of it, but I right now forgot it. String immutable. What happens is, uh, so it creates a memory in a heap, not in stack. And whenever the string is been assigned, it
Mm-hmm.
look out for that memory. Okay, and it means it checks that memory location only. It doesn't check the value. It takes the
Mm-hmm.
value later point on time, but first it takes the value. So
Mm-hmm.
once it's created, so it gets the value gets the memory get allocated, and once it get allocated, it doesn't so it would not change that value. And once you create the same again on another uh, string variable and
Mm-hmm.
have a same value, still it will gonna create a new memory space for that variable. It will not use the same existing one.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
No, actually, I guess so. Basically, what happens is like whenever you are creating a string little, suppose you have written string city1 equals to Delhi, string
mhm,
city2 equals to Delhi. So as per the latest Java version, inside your heap memory area, there is
mm,
one more area which is string constant pool. So what will
okay.
happen whenever you are defining the same value? So city1 will refer to Delhi and city2 will
Mhm.
also refer to Delhi. It will not create the new object basically. And
Object.
suppose
Okay.
you have created 10 cities with the same name. So all the city
Mhm.
will point to Delhi only. But suppose
Value.
you created one more city 11 equals to Mumbai. So what will
Mhm.
happen? Then city 11, first of all, Mumbai will be created inside string constant pool, and then
Mm,
city 11 will point to that Mumbai. So the reason
okay.
is that it is immutable because suppose if it is mutable, then Delhi will be changed to
Yes.
Mumbai, and all the
Correct. It
city
will
data will
get.
change. So that's why they are
Yeah.
not doing like that. So this
Correct.
is the basically correct one. So okay, that's okay.
Okay.
So let me, okay, so suppose I need to write one program. So it's a basically simple Java program. I will tell
Okay.
you. So basically we need to check whether the number is even or odd, but we do not need to use the modulus operator. So for that, you can check that document. Let me share the screen. So
Okay.
give me a second. So, okay, so I have shared. So here, if
This
you
one
see,
only, right?
you can
Yeah.
write
Yeah. I
write
can
your
see.
code here.
Okay.
So let me write the program here only. First of all, what
Okay.
we need to do, like
Mm,
write a Java program to check number is even or odd.
okay.
But we do not use modulus operator, which is this one.
Okay.
This one. So
Mm,
you can write it here. I have shared the screen.
sure. I think I can't write it here. I will write it from my Chrome. Do you want me to share my screen?
No, no,
Is
no.
it
Just
fine?
write it here. I am able to see actually.
Okay. Fine. Uh,
You can take any number. Yeah.
okay. Just give me a minute. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Mm, mm. What other way we can check number? Mm,
So like if you have any like logic in your mind, we can discuss. Like if you are having any logic, you can.
Uh,
Yeah.
my so right now what is coming up is uh, so number which we can divide it using two and uh, ba- uh, dividing the number using two uh, is basically give us the even number and number
Hmm.
which are not divided by two are odd numbers.
Hmm.
But then here you are saying operand operation means operand operator we can't use it. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm thinking so in that case because what happens is it gives us the result value as a zero. If the result value is zero, then in that case we can
yeah.
use that operator.
Yes, yes.
But now another way around, I'm thinking, do we have anything in in integer class or if I give two, if I divide the number by two
Like
and
just I will give one hint. Like you can divide a number using divide operator. You can divide and something like that you can do.
okay, operator.
Yeah, this one only I'm saying.
Mhm. Equals to zero. Let me check it.
So you are dividing the number like 12 by 2 will give you 6. So we will print
Hmm.
odd.
Okay.
Like I will
Uh,
just give you one hint. Suppose um, you are dividing 7 by 2. Suppose.
hmm.
So it
Hmm.
will give you 3.5. Like in
Right.
general, it will give you 3.5, but both are integer value. So zero point 0.5 will be trimmed. So this is how the Java works. So
Hmm.
if you
Okay.
uh, multiply
Got it.
that number by
You're
2,
saying.
yeah,
Uh, so you're saying the number if it's okay. So instead of integer, we need to use uh, long or double, and then we check and if
no,
get
no, I am saying you can still use integer. I am saying like when you divide 7 by 2, so
hmm,
answer will be 3.5. But because in Java, zero point 0.5 both are integer value, so zero point 0.5 will be
hmm,
trimmed and you will get the integer value only.
correct.
So just assume like if we get integer value and if we multiply it by 2, if the number is equal to the same, then it will be a even number. Like you can try without code, like if you try to divide 12 by 2, so it will be 6, right? And if you
Hmm,
multiply by 2, multiply the result by 2, it will again give you 12. So if both are equal, then we can say that number is a even number, like that I am saying. No, no, I am saying
hmm. I got
for
it.
you.
What you're saying right now.
Okay.
Okay. First, divided by two. That, but that I
Multiply and then
need
put
to
and again put one function brackets before and after, and multiply by 2 again inside if condition only.
Yes. Again, there would be another if you're saying, right?
No, 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 no. Inside that only we can do like if you say number divide by 2, multiply by 2 in the same if condition.
Um,
No, no, no. We don't need to put and condition that operator.
uh,
Just say multiply by 2.
yeah.
That's it. Inside if condition only. Not here actually. On that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Here only.
Comma separated, no, right?
No, no. Multiply sign. Yeah, 2.
Okay.
Just put one brackets, function brackets before and after that. Maybe you can put a number by 2. That would be good. Although I don't think it will make much difference. Like I am saying, no, 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 no. I am saying uh, number by 2, put one more
Uh,
function brackets before and after number by 2.
okay.
Yeah, closing here and opening here. Yeah. So just to, okay, now what will happen? Parenthesis value will be evaluated first, right? Number by 2 will
Hmm.
be evaluated first. So it will give you 6, right? So 6
Hmm.
multiplied by 2 is equal to, then I will say one condition equal to NUM.
Okay.
Inside, no, not here, inside if condition only,
Uh,
equals to double equal to num. So see, if both are equal, then we say it's even number. But suppose if you take one more number which is 11 by 2, so what will
uh,
happen? 11 by 2 will give you 5.5, right?
hmm.
So if it
Like,
give you 5.5, zero point 0.5 will be trimmed by Java. So basically it's implicit conversion. So 5 multiplied 2 will give you 10, which is not equals to the number, so
okay.
it's odd number. Are you getting what we are trying to do here?
Yeah, 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 I'm getting it. Just let me try them.
Yeah,
Because
that it
I
will
think
give
it
you,
should work. Because, it's working fine, I think, no.
like if you want to take 13 by 2, so it will give you
Yeah, see
6.5.
here, the output, uh, Sumit. Here's the output, you can see. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
put 11 as a number, okay.
So
I'm
it's
running
odd,
the
and
code,
if you put 12, it will give you the same.
even number, yeah. See, the odd number is 11, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if I put 12, or let's say 10, it's working fine.
Okay.
Basically, we don't have to write a else condition because we
Yeah.
already written a if condition. So for
Yes.
any condition should work. I mean, if we
Mm-hmm.
select for odd, then it should work for even because that's
Hmm.
the number we're
Yeah.
looking. Okay.
So okay. So have you worked with ArrayList and array?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So like what is the basic difference between these two, array and ArrayList?
Okay. Array is fixed size.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's fixed in size. Array list can be dynamically grown.
Okay.
Second, array has an index value, so we
Mm.
can traverse it faster.
Okay.
In array list, uh, we can implement the indexes, but it would require an hash coding, so it would become little complex.
Mm-hmm.
And in array, we can traverse it both ways. It's possible in traversing the array list as well.
So like according to you, which one is better actually? What do you think?
Uh, Based on the requirement, basically. What are the requirement we have? If we know that the element size is fixed and we know these many elements are required, and we want to iterate faster and easiest way, so we can use array.
Mm-hmm.
Array list would be if we are not sure the size is we are not sure the size or it's dynamically growing up, then we should
Mm-hmm.
use array list. Reason being is we don't need to depend on the size, means creation of size and all the stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
get takes care automatically. Even
Okay.
though it's dynamically growing or shrinking, it take care automatically itself.
So
So
like,
that's the
so if you
advantage
see,
we see.
so like array list will solve the purpose of array. What I'm trying to say, like array list is so powerful that it will increase the size, it will decrease the size. So why to use
Correct.
array? Like basically Java should remove array and only give us array list. Then we can use array list everywhere. What do you think? Like what is the reason that they
Uh,
are not removing array?
the reason behind not removing it because that's a core functionality uh, to easily. So what would happen in array? We
Mm-hmm.
can fetch the data directly using the indexes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to traverse it
Mm-hmm.
completely. In ArrayList, we need to traverse it using the next. I mean, using the node annotations. But in
Mm-hmm.
array, we can traverse it using the indexes, which is much faster, and it requires means the time complexity would be lesser when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to performing the actions because it would be in we can do it in a linear way. But in
Mm-hmm.
ArrayList, that would become a little complex because it uses
Okay.
noding. So which is why that's what me I believe it that they have kept it because where we need a simple a solution to why to
Mm-hmm.
use an array list for a such a thing where we know in certain cases it works amazingly amazingly good
Mm-hmm.
for array, which is why they are not removing. And that's the core functionality they have it, so they don't want to touch those core functionality.
Like I will tell you two more important points related to this one. Like see,
Hmm.
suppose you are using array. So suppose you
Hmm.
created array of size 100 and
Hmm.
you have only used 10 elements, like 10 rows, 10 indexes you have used, so it will waste your
Hmm.
memory, right? But if
Correct.
you see in case of array list, it can decrease the size, it can increase the size. So your memory will be saved. So, but if you see the performance basically, so in array you can store one element, that's okay. But in case of array list, what will happen? Suppose you try to insert one more element. So in the back, what will happen? First of all, a new array list will be created and all the elements will be put into that array list one by one. Suppose you have
Hmm.
thousands of elements and you have put 1001th element. So first of all, new array list will be created of extra size and then all the elements will be put into that one by one. So what will happen? Your performance will go down.
Good.
So like if you want to go with the memory saving, then you can go for array list. But if you want that performance should be good, then array will be a good choice, right? So that these are also the two good points. Okay, so one more question. So have you heard of finally keyword in Java, like try catch finally?
Yes.
So what is the purpose
So
of finally?
finally, using finally keyword. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, why we use finally keyword whenever we have an exception. Okay. So to even you haven't got an exception. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So still the finally will block will always get executed even if
Mm-hmm.
you have an exception. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
halt the execution whenever you
Okay.
encountered an exception. Finally, block will get executed even after you got an exception, and
Mm-hmm.
you can use it that for closing your connections, closing your
Yeah.
database connection, closing your browsers, and all the tear down activities.
Okay, so you mean to say like it will always execute whenever we use finally, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I will give you one scenario like uh, on that collaborative document.
Hmm.
Are you able to see that document, right?
Yes.
So suppose I have written one simple code, try, and then I will use system dot out dot print, and here I will say hello, okay, and after that I will say catch
Mm,
some exception
mm,
e, and I will after that I will print something, okay, and I will
mm,
use finally, okay. So
mm,
we are saying that it will always execute. Suppose I am writing closing db connection, so some code is written here,
Hmm.
So I'm saying, see, this part will handle the exception, and due to which our
Hmm.
code will run, right? It will not stop in
Hmm.
between.
Hmm.
So if I remove that, this part, then also it
Hmm.
will run. So what is
No,
the use? Like I'm saying,
no. It will not run because here you encountered an exception. Okay, I'm saying
but this will
in
handle,
case,
right? This will handle.
this will print the exception. It will not print the. It will print only the exception, not anything else. It will not execute your code in catch block. It
No,
will
no.
just.
I'm saying, suppose if
Uh-huh.
here I'm here I am saying here I am saying
Hmm.
int number equals to divide by 0, suppose, so it will give me
Hmm.
like divide by 0 error, right? So it will
Correct.
go to the catch block and it will handle this exception, so our program will work normally. So even
Hmm.
after that, whatever the code I will write, whatever the code here, suppose I have written hi or hello, so this will execute, right? Because it is handling this exception. This is the reason we are putting, right?
No, but
Like
then the execution, once it falls in catch block, it
mhm,
will stop the execution going ahead. It will immediately stop the execution from flowing ahead because it's handled the exception and it will throw that exception and it will close the program. So to you know, it will not come once you have an exception. Okay, it will
mhm,
go in catch block, execute
mhm,
there, and then it will close. It
mhm.
will not
You are saying this will
continue.
not execute, right?
No.
Okay, so let us check once. So basically it will execute, and I will tell you why it will execute. So if it is not executing, then why we are using try catch? But this is my question, right? So suppose if I say
Uh,
just int number equals to
mm,
7 by 0. So
mm,
let me run it. So let us understand what is catch also. So catch and some kind of exception E, right?
mm.
And I will say
E dot
system.
print there. Okay,
So this tool is not giving suggestions, so I need to write.
fine.
So I will say hi. Okay.
Fine.
So in
Fine.
that case,
That's also
we
fine.
should get like this one, right?
Mm,
So let me
This
try
is
running.
this will get print.
So let me first try
This
it.
will run, right? But I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying the code
yeah, yeah.
below
I
catch
got
will
it.
run.
Yeah, yeah. So this is fine, right? Hi,
Mm,
I am catch.
mm,
So
mm,
suppose if I write one more
mm.
system, so I will copy
You
this.
copy and paste it, right? I would say
Yeah,
you can.
I am trying to copy paste, and I will say hi Sumit. Okay. So
Okay.
what do you think, this will run or not?
So Sumit, I'm saying once you got it, it will execute the code written in catch, but
Mm-hmm.
below that it will not go.
See, it's
Reason being,
printing actually.
even though you have handled the exception, but it falls at its catch block. It does not allow to you uh, go further and run, means execute further.
No, no,
That's
see, you can see the output, it's executing basically. If
okay.
I run it, whatever the code you will write now after this,
Hmm.
you can see. So suppose if I write, um, if I write some,
so,
I'm, uh-huh.
so the so finally will be if we have any uncatch exception to handle those, we can use finally block. If we encounter any memory allocation or something like that,
Mhm.
okay, uh, un, the exception which we cannot catch it, if we are uh, got those exceptions, still it will go ahead in finally block and execute that exception. It will not all day,
My question is
your
that
exit.
even if I remove this part, see, as of now I'm
Hmm.
getting these three lines.
Correct,
If I
I
remove
agree.
these two, then also it will give me same output. So why we are using it basically? That I was asking. See, both are, I am getting the same output.
I got it. We are accept here one exception we handle it, okay, but
Mm-hmm.
let's consider a scenario. We are writing thousands of lines of code. There
Mm-hmm.
might
You
be a
can write
scenario we
thousand.
don't have. No, I'm saying if we don't, uh, we have exceptions which we have not caught it. In that
Mm-hmm.
case the execution will get out, right?
So like you are saying, if I do not handle this, then also, then we use, right? Is it you are saying like this? But again, we need to use only with try catch. You cannot use it single like that.
Right.
See, let me tell you one major difference
Mm,
basically.
mm,
See, here it is not making any difference. Like we are getting the same output we have seen, right?
mm,
But suppose you create one method. So I'm trying to create one dummy method. Okay. You can
mm,
check that later. And here, so this method, I will say, I want to close the database connection. Okay.
mm,
So this method will do this work for me. And here I am saying try. I have written one try catch block. And here I will say system.out.println. So I'm writing sys out only. So
I understand.
I am catch block. So and here let me say some random operation we are doing. Suppose as of now, just as we assume like it is divided by 0.
Mm,
So
right.
here if you write finally, then it will create a difference. What difference I will tell you. So in the finally, as you mentioned, that we close up some important connection, like we can close our database connection. Okay.
Mm,
So now what will happen? Suppose if it will not throw any exception, this part,
mm,
suppose just assume it will not throw,
mm,
and here I will say return. Okay. So what I'm saying, so what will happen even after this, suppose this line will not throw any exception and your method will return from here only, then in that case also this will execute. But if you have written sys out here, only sys out, then this line will not
mm,
execute. So this is the actually difference. So that's why we say that finally will always execute whenever, whether we encounter the error or not, right? So inside the method it will make this huge difference, right? Because if
mm,
I've written without this, and without this if I have written, and due to this keyword our method
mm.
will not proceed forward, right? It will simply return from here, and so this line will not execute until and unless I am not using finally, right? So this is the
Okay.
reason.
So you mean to say that the method which returns it only then it makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't make a difference. Is
You
it?
can try writing the whole code, right, and check that,
Hmm.
uh,
Sure.
like even
One
without
more
finally
thing.
and with finally. Okay.
Okay. One more thing.
Yeah.
Because main is also a method, right, in Java.
Yeah.
So it should work in in that case as well. But
But you are
it
not
doesn't
returning
work.
something inside that.
Okay. There is no
Yeah.
return statement. If I write a return
Yeah.
statement and then it
Yeah.
will. Okay.
Right. So you can check it without finally and with finally after
Okay.
this. So it will make the
Sure.
difference. So we will be able to see. Okay. So
Okay.
that's fine. So would you like to share your screen?
You can see, right?
Yes. Now I am able to see your entire screen. Now it's good. So that black color, yeah.
Yeah.
You just need to write the xpath for that, for that number actually.
Hmm.
You can use text function if you want. That's fine.
Hmm. Mm, mm, what? Mm,
You can also tell like what you are thinking while writing that.
Okay. What I'm doing is I'm traversing it. Okay, from this li to label,
Mm-hmm.
then label to
Like better we can write.
yes.
Can you write one that relative XPath? Basically, absolute we don't generally prefer, no? Maybe you can.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm not doing a relative, I mean absolute, but I'm
Okay.
trying to locate that element because
Acha, okay.
this number, which is 17532,
Mm-hmm.
is basically would be dynamic number. So that number would keep changing. Uh, so this value, I can take it right now, but
Mm-hmm.
then
Can you try like what
wait,
you will get if you try to write double slash
wait,
star text equals to
uh,
17531?
it's not giving me the expected result. It's single quote only, right? No, it's not. You
Actually, the
see, it's
syntax is
not.
incorrect. Like after span, you need to put array bracket. Yeah, close that array bracket as. Uh, yeah. So what we are getting? Um, we are getting, but we are getting that upper class, not this 17. I want exact 17531. So, do you have any idea like what we can do?
We are getting this one only, right?
Mm-hmm.
Means it has a value of this one. You see,
Mm-hmm.
here it is pointing.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
But I want that
And that number.
only 17531. Exact, yeah, exact match.
So we can use this. I mean, this one, and then we can use the next or sibling of this one as a value.
Basically, there is no tag, na? So how basically means you can tell me like how you will use sibling because there is no tag. HTML tag is not there. Only so maybe just one hint like you can use text function maybe. Again means again text function I'm saying.
Again, text function. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
let me say. Uh, okay.
Yeah, like that as well we can do. See, you got three matches when once you have written that.
Uh,
Yeah, you can see three matches. If you hit enter, you will get 2 seconds.
okay. So here I need to
Yeah, yeah.
mention one.
Yes, yes, you can do like that. So yeah, this is you can say two,
Nothing
then it will
one.
give you. Yeah, like that you can do, right? So you using
Mm-hmm.
text function like after that. So on that spend text equals to 17531 we can modify, right? We should not hard code the data. So that you can do later. That's it. But this is how
Yes.
basically we can do like text function, because what will happen, you can say that spend class equals to color num. I will write till that part, but once you
Mm,
apply get text, you will get function bracket, then number, then that ending bracket. You will get all the three.
correct.
Then you need to use split method. Okay, so why to use that if we can write that xpath directly, right?
Okay. So
Okay,
you think we need to use a class method and then we will use uh, we'll use class here. Uh,
color num maybe.
value
I think there will be more than one, I guess. Color num. Color spelling is incorrect actually.
uh,
COLOUR.
mm, okay.
See, it's giving you how many?
7. Oh, but even though I have put it one. Mm, okay, hold on.
Actually, that
Uh,
black, blue, white, all you are getting basically. That's why.
yes, mm, mm,
That's okay. It's correct. It is giving you because when you are writing span class equals to color number, they are seven. There are seven
okay,
such. So that's okay.
okay. So here we need to put it as a 1. Then
Yeah, you
is
can.
it? Will it
No,
give?
no. First, you need to enclose them in the function bracket, then put one. Before, yeah, put closing function bracket here. Before that, one more. Yeah. No, no. Closing function bracket. Only one. Closing function bracket. Yeah.
And one more, right?
No, no, function bracket, it's array bracket. You shift 0.
Okay.
Yeah, and just at the start you need to also do at the start. Yeah, here. No, no, no. Before that, double slash.
No, at the
Yeah.
start
Now
for
it will give
at
you
the
one. So now you can say
okay.
one, right? So okay, that's fine. So suppose Nilesh, I have one web element, like I have one login button. Okay.
Mm,
So I am using driver dot. Yeah, you can. Okay, just don't close it. Let me remove it
mm,
from that. Okay, so
mm,
okay. So what I was saying, suppose you are having you are using driver dot find by element, okay, by
mm,
dot xpath, and suppose
mm,
you have written one xpath for the login button,
mm,
but there are two login buttons with the same xpath basically. So we are getting two
mm,
elements, and if we are using
mm.
driver dot find element by dot xpath dot click, so what will happen?
Mm.
Will you get some exception or it will work fine?
Um, it will give an exception.
Hmm.
No, what happens is usually it tries to click on the first element, whichever it finds it.
Yes, correct.
Uh,
So
yeah, whichever
basically, yeah.
means even basically what it tries to do is if it locates that element, even though it has the 10 element, but if it found first element, whatever the element it finds it first time, it will
Hmm.
click on that element.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
And
So
it will,
basically, Selenium will scan the web page from left to right and top to bottom. So in the HTML DOM, whatever the element will come first, it will click on that. So no exception basically.
hmm,
Okay, so suppose Okay, can you tell me the five exception name you encountered while working?
Okay. Uh, One is tail element exception.
Okay.
Okay. No such element exception.
Mm-hmm.
Timeout exception.
Okay.
No such a frame exception. No window
Mm-hmm.
no such a window exception.
Okay, which one? No such.
No such a window exception.
So when it will come basically when
When we are handling Windows pop-ups, basically, that
okay
time,
multiple
if we
tabs you are saying.
encounter, yeah.
Okay, two more, right? Yeah. Three you have told.
No such a frame exception,
No. Okay.
timeout,
Okay.
no such element, no,
Mm-hmm.
what was stale element exception,
Mm-hmm.
and one more, what, window frame, stale element, no such element,
Mm-hmm.
and timeout error.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's
One,
that's fine. Okay, so I'm more interested in that stale element. So what is it, and can you tell me how you handle it? Stale
okay,
element. Yeah.
okay. So stale element exception is basically when we are browsing on a page, okay, and if it
Mm-hmm.
is automatically getting refreshed. So uh, in Selenium, it tries to identify that element in the previous page. Okay, it doesn't check means it in the DOM structure. It gets refreshed, but it doesn't check on the refresh. DOM structure. It checks on the unrefreshed page.
Mm-hmm.
So which is why it says tail element exception.
Okay.
Okay, and how we can do means how we can uh, overcome this exception by refreshing the page and then finding the element on that page.
Yeah. Again, we can find, right. Then it will.
Hmm.
Okay, that's fine. So one
Means
more
once we
question.
refresh it and then we try to locate that element
Yeah,
which is
after
not
refreshing the
identified.
page, we again locate the element. So that time it will identify. Yeah.
Yes,
So in your resume, you have written that you worked with Cypress as well, right? Is it?
yes. Means I'm learning that tool right now. I'm not
Okay.
yet
Okay.
not worked it, but then I'm learning that tool.
Okay. So basically, okay, tell me like in Selenium, suppose we are having five windows, five tabs
Mhm.
open.
Mhm.
Once we click on the link, five tabs open. So how we will
Mhm.
basically go to each web page and print the title? Will Selenium, how Selenium will help us?
Okay.
Multiple window.
Using get window handle and
Yeah.
using tit- uh, get title, it will
Okay.
fetch the title of that page.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and in so that's how we can do that. Get the title of each page while running a loop and then checking. I mean running a loop and then handling. I mean, moving towards each page and
Mm-hmm.
using get window handle. And
Mm-hmm.
once we move to that tab, we
Mm-hmm.
will run a query. Means we'll request for get the
Mm-hmm.
title of that page and it will page the title and we can print that title.
So which method basically you will use? Like when you say driver dot get window handle, so you will get a unique ID of the each tab, right?
Correct. So it would
So
be set of unique ID,
uh-huh.
set string of means we'll use
Mm-hmm.
set as a and it would be in string set of string and
Mm-hmm.
that will give us unique ID of that window and we'll pass that unique ID to in the handle and then it will fetch means it will traverse it into that using get window handles method
Okay. So have
using that.
you tried replicating the same with Cypress? Did you get the chance still? Any
Yeah,
idea?
in Cypress, what happens is
Mm-hmm.
if we want to perform that, it first of all, if it is in the same domain, I mean, it doesn't allow you to move into another tab. It
Mm-hmm.
it works only in the same tab. First thing.
Okay.
Second thing, because so if we wanted to perform, I mean, opening up all the different pages, what we
Mm-hmm.
need to do is we need to remove that tag target from the Cypress tool and
Mm-hmm.
run them on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one more thing in Cypress. Basically, we need to define means change the origin every time
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't allow if we have cross origin thing in
Yeah.
Cypress, it doesn't allow, it throws an exception. So
Yes.
to handle that, we need to change the origin as well. That's how it works in Cypress.
Like basically, there is one property, if you remember, target equals to blank.
Correct.
So
So that
if
we
you are
need
able to
to,
remove that,
yeah.
then yeah,
Then it will open up in
the same
Cypress
page.
the in the same page only.
So like basically, you can use that. There is one invoke method. In that invoke method, so what you can pass remove attribute target. So once you do
Target
that and click that, it will open in the same page, and then you can work with that tab only, right? So it will
yes.
basically not open in the new tab. So that way
New
you
tab.
can do. Okay. So have you also worked on framework designing from scratch
Yes.
using Selenium? So what kind of framework like you worked on currently or worked in the past?
Okay. So we design a framework using page object model.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a structure which we follow. In page object model, there's a
Mm-hmm.
base page, and every page would have function means for all the pages of a client would be under a pages folder
Mm-hmm.
structure, and all the functionality would be written over it. Okay, in
Mm-hmm.
that pages uh, class, and
Okay.
all pages would have inheritance between a base page, where
Mm-hmm.
in base page we are writing all the test cases. Sorry, all the uh, you know test setup methods, like environment setup or all the functions which required before we start a test case. All those
Mm-hmm.
functionality we have written it in the base page, and it will
Okay.
be uh, base. I mean, it would be in parent class for all the pages. Okay, basically, so that it would automatically the test environment would be available for all the pages, and it will
Mm-hmm.
start executing from there. And we write test cases for all the pages. What are the test cases we have written it
Mm-hmm.
in a test folder,
Mm-hmm.
and we have utilities, different utilities like reading from Excel,
Mm-hmm.
reading data from dot properties file. Then there's a utility for taking a screenshot. Or these types of utilities we usually use.
Mm-hmm.
And what
So
else
which
we have?
framework basically
Okay,
test
and
NG
we
or
use
J?
assertion test. Yeah, test ng as a testing framework
Okay.
for running test cases and for assertions, which help us
Okay.
to validate the test case whether it's working fine or not.
So you are using test NG, right?
Yes.
Basically. So what do you mean by hard assertion and soft assertion? You must be using that assert dot assert true, assert false.
Yes.
So there are
Yes.
two types. Yeah.
So um, basically, hard assertions where the execution would completely.
Okay.
Uh, Sorry, I don't remember it right now. What exactly
Mm-hmm.
hard
That's okay.
assertions? But soft assertions will be when we want to, fault that using an assertion method. Where means
Mm-hmm.
if we want to break something, it is working any test case which we want to break it
Mm-hmm.
purposely, then we use assertion, and that's a soft assertion. But I'm a little confused with hard and
That's
soft
okay.
assertion.
Sometimes we tend to forget the things. That's okay. So
Correct.
like basically what happens is like if you want your test case to run full, suppose if you have
Mm-hmm.
used hard assertion like assert dot assert true, it will fail your test case and rest of the steps will not execute, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you use soft assertion, what will happen? Your test case will execute, and if you want, at the end you will throw all the exceptions. So there is one method which is Like suppose you will create the object of soft assert class first. Then you will
Mm-hmm.
say sa dot soft assert dot assert all. At the end of the test case, you will say, so what will happen? You will get all the exceptions, but your test case will also run, right? So
Exactly.
that's why we can use soft assertion, like as the name says, also like soft assertion. Okay. So which kind of reports you are using in your framework? Is it extent report or LO report or any other
I'm using TestNG report only. I
test engine?
haven't used it any other report right
Okay.
now in my project.
Okay. Only test engine you are using.
Yes.
Okay. So do
I
you
ha-
also?
I I didn't use, but I have heard of the one which is in Cypress. There's
Uh-huh.
one in Cypress we use means while learning it. I came to know about that report for Cypress specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But we can implement that because basically it works fine with Cucumber framework.
Okay.
So we can use that in whenever we wanted to, work on Cucumber framework. So we can use
Mm-hmm.
that report. But that because that's written by a person whose name is little difficult to remember it
Mm-hmm.
and pronounce it. So right now I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember
Okay.
exactly the name of the
Okay.
person. Sorry.
That's okay. That's not an issue. So okay, tell me, like, so you are also using, like, you are running your test cases you using Docker as well? Did you get the chance to run on Docker or any other you are using cloud?
Uh, on Docker, that's also I'm learning it how to run it
Okay.
the test cases on Docker. I
Mm-hmm.
have came until starting a Docker, uh,
Okay.
running the bash script on
Okay.
the Linux server, you
Okay.
know, uh, using WSL system. So that's
Okay.
what I have done it till now, but not
Okay.
still not completely able to execute all the test cases on Docker.
So like in your current project, how you are running current or
So
previous
we are
projects?
it is not basic because that's on Salesforce technology, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And on Salesforce, it's a cloud itself, right? So they
Okay.
don't use
Mm.
any other system. They have
Okay.
on Salesforce, it's completely their
Mm-hmm.
own technology. So they don't use any other technology to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, deploy the code and all those stuff. They have
Mm-hmm.
Copado, using which they
Okay.
deploy the code.
Okay, that's
So
fine. Uh-huh.
we run the test cases on using Jenkins and Maven, means
Okay.
scheduling it, not deploying right now in uh,
Mm-hmm.
directly into the production
Okay.
or
Okay,
running
fine.
in on Docker. So I
So like
haven't
you see,
worked
okay.
on Docker.
Can you tell me like what are the locators you worked on with Selenium? Like how many types of locators? Can you name them?
Okay, okay. One is ID,
Mm-hmm.
name, class, partial text, xpath, CSS,
Mm-hmm.
uh, link text,
Mm-hmm.
uh, partial link text. Sorry, link text, partial link text, and I told you right.
Yes.
The one which is parent and sibling. Those are no, those are not
That are part of XPath only.
ways of identifying it. Those are the
Yeah.
methods which we can use it in the XPath.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, these are the major one.
Like,
Major one: ID, name, class, partial link text, pa-
mm-hmm.
uh, XPath, CSS. These are the major ones.
So like Selenium, or like in the Selenium 4 version, so current I think it's 4.13 they have released. So they have introduced
Mhm.
few more locators, relative locators. Have you heard of that? Relative locator.
I think I have written. I mean, I have read it, but I don't remember it right now.
Okay,
I
that's
have
okay.
read it. It makes it very easy to locate the element.
Yeah.
That's what they are doing
So
it
like
in 4.7.
suppose you need to
In
find to the left of
after four
element,
versions.
to the
Right.
left of element, to the right of, above, near, these kinds of, like they have introduced. So I was going through your resume and you said that you also worked with REST assured API, right? Automation.
Hmm. Yes.
Can you tell me the difference between put versus fetch request?
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, Using patch method, we partially uh, update the database.
Mm-hmm.
Using put, completely update the
Okay, like
database.
okay. Yeah, that's correct. So, like any other HTTP requests you remember, like after apart from put and fetch, what are those you worked with?
Post, get,
Mm-hmm.
delete,
Delete or
and back, post, delete. Majorly we use these only, right?
have you heard of
Post,
head request? Head request.
no,
Okay.
not use it. Okay, we haven't used it in our
Mhm.
Swagger document as well. There's no
Okay.
hard method.
Options. Options maybe.
Let me remember. No, basically post, put, get, and delete. These are the major ones which we have used.
Okay. Like head is basically like suppose your when you hit one API,
Mm-hmm.
so what will happen? It will take suppose 1 minute to load the
Okay.
entire data because the response is very big. Okay. So in that
Okay.
case, you want to check, you are not interested in the data part. What is the
Hmm.
response coming? You are not interested. You want to check that whether the API is working correct, like you are not
Okay.
getting 404 or something. So if you hit a head request, does not matter how long the data will take, you will get the response immediately, right? So
Okay.
you can check that in that case.
Okay.
And like
Okay.
options like suppose developer has given you one API
Uh-huh.
URI they have given, but they have not told you that which HTTP request is applicable to that API, right? So they have not
Uh-huh.
mentioned in the document. So if you use options request, so like in the postman drop down, you will get so
Okay.
many HTTP request.
Right. Methods.
So
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah, so if you say options and hit the request, so in that response in the header part, you will get that what are the allowable HTTP requests for that API, right?
Okay.
So it will give you all the HTTP method names, right? So you can use
Okay.
options keyword. Okay,
Okay.
so okay, so have you ever heard of that auth 2
But
mechanism?
then, have you? Means I just wanted to check with
Yeah,
you.
please.
You do you use these methods in in testing world as well? So in your
Yeah,
project
suppose.
as well.
Yes, why not? Because see, suppose you got a requirement to check like what is the response time of your API. Suppose you are using REST assured only to check the response whether our API is giving us the correct response. So we
Okay.
want that the test should run very fast, but we are
Mm-hmm.
not interested in getting the data. So just if you hit
Okay.
that head request, you will immediately be notified that status code is correct. It should not be 404. In that case, you can use
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay.
options. If I talk about the options, suppose developer has not mentioned, sometimes they miss or they not mention, so in that case you can hit that request options request and get that data, like which
Okay.
HTTP request. So maybe
There's one
sometimes
more way which through which we can get it. If you
okay.
hit network, you will get all the details.
Hmm.
If I mean, this is how we usually get the data. If they do not provide it, what we used to do is we used to go into network tab and then we check that
Yeah.
it gives you complete details, the method name, then the
Yes.
body structure, the header and
Hmm.
path parameters and all
Yes,
those
yes, you are right.
information you'll get it in the network.
Yes, yes, you are right. Okay, so that's fine. So my next question is that have you heard of auth 2 mechanism?
Yes.
Open. Yeah. Can you tell me what it
Yes.
is and give me one example? I want to know, like, if you have
Okay.
worked with it. Yeah.
Okay. So on OAuth 2.0,
Okay.
basically um, and it's authorization means it's a international internet style architecture for
Mhm.
authorization. Using this, we can perform the authorization using various authorization types. One is auth using auth code. Second one is client credentials.
Hmm.
Third one is using access token,
Yeah.
then refresh token,
Hmm.
and many more are there. So if I talk about authorization code, what would happen is in backend, uh, you we as in if we want to use a Google to so I'll give you before that I'll give you why this came in picture. Okay,
Okay.
so uh, you are an one service provider. Okay, you are
Mm-hmm.
providing some kind of service. Like say you are making a bus ticket booking. Okay, your platform where the bus tickets get booked. Okay, so now you have to create a login information, right? So
Mm-hmm.
login credential to create that model in your system. uh,
Mm-hmm.
there are three things which require. Anyways, you have to create it, but then you have to maintain that as well. You have to keep that secure. These are the things. Okay. So what happens with 0.2, I mean OR 2.0 is this login details you can fetch it from the third party like
Mm-hmm.
Google, Facebook, or anyone who has already had the details of a customer, where customer allows them to use their Gmail credential to authorize themselves to access that portal. So, once you successfully collaborate with or register with Google, you'll get client ID, client secret ID.
Yeah.
Then you'll get your who is gonna do that means authorization server and uh, uh, and one more thing and who will access means who is the provider. So
Mm-hmm.
here human is access server and the uh,
Mm-hmm.
who providing that services is Google and you being in as a client. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you register with Google, so you will get these details in authorization. So using these details, you'll create an authorization code, and
Mm-hmm.
using that authorization code, you will able to log into uh, means
Mm-hmm.
login means allow login through
Mm-hmm.
Gmail. And what would happen is for you, you don't have to maintain these details of customer like their username, password, and
Mm-hmm.
the security of these things. These information you'll get it from Google, which is already
Mm-hmm.
available with Google.
Yeah.
Using this, uh, OR 2.0, you can
Okay.
easily, bypass this,
Yeah.
maintaining, creating these records in your database and securing them.
Yeah. You explained very well.
Basically,
Like,
it's a,
that's clear. Yeah.
yeah, basically, it is an authorization mechanism or login service
Mm-hmm.
from a third party to access this for one service provider to access the credentials of third party using third party
Mm-hmm.
he can authorize that customer and use that details for his
Yes. So
or
basically, what
her
is the need?
service.
Like suppose there is one website, Book My Show. I think they are
Hmm.
using the same. Like
Correct,
I
correct.
think every other website is using like. So they
Yes.
could have maintained their own database. They are using the Google one. Why is it?
So
What do you think?
to maintain it, it would require. I told you
Yeah.
right. It requires a security
Yeah.
and maintaining the database. So that headache will they get rid of
Yeah.
it, right? If they use the OR 2.0, they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to miss they have to maintain it, but not completely,
Yeah.
stringently, where we need to know their address and all those details. They just need now here they need name and email. So these information they can easily get it from Gmail and then they'll use it and they'll send the tickets to their
Mm-hmm.
mobile using their name they will print the name,
Yeah.
using their email address they'll send it that to email, and using their phone number they'll send it text message to the consumer phone. They don't have to care from which I mean from which address and all those stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't require that all those information to be captured and stored in their database. They are worrying about their few
Mm-hmm.
fields and they can easily get it from OAuth 2.0. which is
Yeah, correct.
why they have introduced, means which is why it has been more getting popular nowadays.
Yeah, agree. I think almost many websites, whatever the websites I see, they are using that.
Yeah,
For-
new, whichever the new services comes in, they
Mhm.
usually use those services, so it would be faster. You don't have to create the login first. Means you
Mhm.
have to create it, but then it would not be stringent functionality.
Mhm.
Basically, you can ask user to uh, get this credential done using this, or you can use an email. But
Yeah.
mostly people go for CO 2.0 because here the customer also saves the time and effort to create an account, right?
Yeah.
They have to provide all the information that it is which is already available with Google, and Google is sharing the information which is requested by by the
Mhm.
customer, by the
Mhm.
client for Google. That only
Yeah.
information. It will not share his credentials and not required information with that user, with that
Mhm.
service provider.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree on to that. So that's great. You have answered in very deep manner. That's I like. So I have one more question. Like, suppose you are creating a bug. Okay. So
Hmm.
what are all the things you will take care of while creating a bug in Jira?
Okay.
Yeah.
So while raising bug, we need to provide summary.
Okay.
We need to provide steps to recreate.
Mm-hmm.
We need to provide those should be in detail as well. Then we need
Mm-hmm.
to provide severity of the bug.
Yeah.
Then environment where
Mm-hmm.
we have encountered. What would be an actual, what is an actual expected result, what would
Mm-hmm.
be, sorry, what is actual result, what is an expected result. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then because there's a deviation, what we are when we raise a bug, we deviate somewhere, it get deviated, only then we raise the bug, basically.
Okay.
So that information we need to provide it, because that's how they understand, the developer will also understand it, why
Mm-hmm.
why they are calling this as a bug. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then next thing would be whom to assign it, what would be the status of that bug, new
Mm-hmm.
or open, and screenshots, because
Yeah,
that
screenshots.
gives
I
them
was
the idea.
when you will.
Yeah,
Mm.
a screenshot is more important because it's required where it has been failed, because
Yeah.
we are saying this is, we are expecting it and this is the actual response,
Mm.
and if we do not provide a screenshot, how the person will understand it. Yeah, it is making sense that you're saying correct bug has been raised or not.
Mhm. Any
Mhm.
other you might think of like which it can make better, more better?
More better. Okay. Environment I have mentioned, summary, description, then steps, uh, and linking that bug to the user story
Yeah,
and test case.
that's also good.
Uh, because it gives in your requirement traceability
Mm.
matrix as well,
Mhm.
where we have found it, for which story and what acceptance criteria.
Mhm.
Uh, Apart from that, basically, what else? Story,
See,
story, story.
I'm talking in the screenshot only, like a screenshot.
Okay,
A screenshot you have
okay,
added.
okay.
What else?
We can highlight the area where we have found the bug. Means when
Uh-huh.
we take a screenshot, if we use a pen or something in the pen and highlight that section where
Mhm.
we have encountered an error, so that it would give them a clear, and they don't have to look around in the screenshot where they have found it, what area and what.
Mhm.
uh, so this is the expected, means this is
Mhm.
sorry, this is the expected result, we are expecting this, and this
Mhm.
is the actual result, we got it, and we are highlighting that section where we
Mhm.
found the issue. So
Okay.
let's say, I'll give you one example. Okay, I'm giving you a very simple example. Here
Mhm.
I'm saying this is the username, this is the username, this is the password, and there's a login.
Mhm. Okay.
Now username password is correct, but on the login button he has put it instead of submit, he has written login. So we can highlight it. We can
Hmm.
select that and highlight it. Stated that you have mentioned it is has to be in login,
Hmm.
but you have here you have written it as sub. So he has to correct the label of that button. So he will
Okay.
immediately understands it. Okay, oh, I got it where I have made the mistake. So this would be very crisp and concise. Or if we can record means in some automation tools, so in one of my projects in Accenture where we have implemented video recording using source lab. So
So
when we
okay.
execute a test case,
Hmm.
okay, when we execute a test case using automation tool, it was completely scratch, means everything we write it is in
Hmm.
using automation tool. There was no manual testing. Okay,
Hmm.
so when we execute a script, it records that uh,
Okay.
video, and we can use that video as a input and provide them because it capture complete steps what we are performing
Hmm.
and where. So we understand it, right? Whenever it breaks, it gives us the result, okay, in the recording as well. So
Hmm.
though it would not been concise, but then we can move forward, and at that point, it uh, on a console we know where exception has occurred, and we
Hmm.
can check that in the video as well.
Yeah, so what I think, like, we should also, like, sometimes it happens that we add the screenshot, but I feel that personally I feel that we should also attach the video. That will be more good in the Jira, because they keep on saying like
Correct,
it's working on your machine. They cannot say that if we have the
right?
video, then they cannot say that it is not working. I can say that.
But then, yeah, I agree with you, Sumit, on this. But then, we know it should allow us to record the video.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the major task which we have it, and where the client would not agree because that it gets recorded and then uh, it consume a lot of memory as well. Recording of
No,
a
like
video,
basically, I
right?
use one tool which is OBS. You might have heard of OBS. Is a so what I did, like, when I try to run my test case, I will start the recording using OBS tool, which is free, open source, and it will record
Hmm.
that whatever the things are happening in my browser through Selenium. So
Okay,
that video I will
okay,
take and attach it. So
okay.
okay. So Nilesh, I have done from my side. So below are my observations that I think, what I think, like, suppose like you have good knowledge on that, deep knowledge, I would say, like when it comes to agile methodology, and I've seen that you have explained very well in the rest assured as well. You have explained in depth, so that is also fine. So little bit, actually I feel that in the coding part you need to brush up a bit. So I think I know that you know the things, but sometimes it happens that we tend to forget like it's the common practice. When we have the interview, we forgot.
Correct,
So that I feel that you
right?
should practice more and more questions. So
Okay,
apart from that, I think you are good. Like, you have worked on most of the, like, you have worked with API automation, Cypress as well. You are able to tell, even though you are learning that, how you can handle that
right.
multiple tabs. So that is also, I like that. I liked as well. So apart from that, I think you are good. So that's all. I think we can have it. So are you okay with that? Any questions you want
So
to have with me?
yeah, sure. Thank you.